Hello everyone, this is Release01 and welcome to part 2 of What If Deku Had Lelouch's Powers. So last time Deku got his acceptance letter in the mail and today he's starting UA for the first time. So Deku, he leaves his house and his mother's, same old saying that if he packed, all might figurines in his backpack instead of like what he needs for school. And he's like, "Mom, I got it. I got it. I'm going to UA. I'm gonna be a hero." And like, she's saying that she's proud of him and like she's sorry that she didn't support him when he was younger. Okay. And then so Deku goes to school. It's kind of nerve wracking for him because he never thought he'd be in this position. But thanks to the power of the Gias, he is able to be here. Well, that and his own intellect. So he walks into the door a little late because UA is a big ass campus and like trying to find one class is kind of hard to do that. And he makes a say comment about the door that why is it so big? Maybe it's for people who have like giant quirks like Mount Lady or something. Well, she technically does have size, but yeah, she only transforms. Okay, so he walks in the door and he sees Bakugo right there, putting his feet on the table, and Ida like freaking chewing him out for stuff, doing those hand motions he does. I swear to God, I still wonder why he does those. Anyways, so he's like making a comment that he shouldn't disrespect the school property and stuff, and like Bakugo's like you know did your old school put a stick up your ass or something? You know how he is rude as fuck. Anyways, so skipping that, Ida sees Deku and then he's gonna go to say hi to him, saying, "Hey, you're that kid from earlier, the rude one, and you're the rude one who touched me." And like everyone like takes notice of when he said that, and like nodded, and then like he's like Ida's like frantically saying, "Not in that way, no, not in any appropriate way." Yeah, he just put his hand on my shoulder. That's it. Like everyone was like a little bit confused at that moment. Anyways, for comedic relief. Anyways, so yeah, he like mentioned that. Ida mentions that. So you're the one who also rescued that girl. I saw what you did. You also knew that there's other stuff to the test. And Deku says, "No, I didn't. I just did what a hero would do and rescue that girl while everyone else was running away." And then like Ida's like a little bit saddened to hear that. Yeah, he wants to be a hero. He's from a hero family, but he ran away when like someone needed his help instead of like thinking, "Oh, to save them." Anyways, right a little bit later, like a few seconds, Uraka comes up behind Deku and says, "Oh, hey, I know that messed up hair," and, like how she always does. And like Deku turns around saying, "Oh, hello, you're Uraka, right?" And then yeah, and you're Izuku Midoriya, correct? And like they say hi to each other, pleasantries and stuff, and then you have Bakugo in his background saying, "Why the hell is Deku here? That damn nerd!" Like how he's like his character. How did he get inside school without a quirk? And so the thing is that Deku didn't show off his Gyas at school since he thought it would like be a little bit too much, and especially if he accidentally hypnotized someone at school, but and caused quite a commotion because didn't. He was still a little bit worried about his powers. So that's why he tested it on animals and some other stuff instead of on people. So he knows what extent he could do it to people. He can't do it on C2 because she's immune to it. But yeah, he trained himself to do random stuff with the animals. But either way, so it comes back a few seconds later. Aizawa gets up that you guys are being too noisy. You guys, or you get me? How he is after watching his cat videos in the sleeping bag. Says, "I'm Shota Aizawa. I'll be your homeroom teacher. And like, we're gonna have a quirk apprehension test. Now get on these uniforms and get changed and we'll meet out in the field." And some of the students mentioned that what about orientation? And he says, "This school, I'm allowed to take the class and do whatever I want. So if you guys don't get on the field, you'll be like expelled." And all of them rush to the gym and like or to the locker rooms to change. Deku's changing and everyone else is changing and like everyone's Bakugo is like glaring like daggers at fucking Deku for being in the school. He thinks he might have cheated to get in because he doesn't have a quirk, and that's funny. And then, he gets to that point where, like, everyone's commenting on, like, you know, uh, I'm sorry, it's Kaminari, no, wait, not Kaminari, Kirishima comments that Deku, even though he looks kind of scrawny, he's a little bit, fit. And, like, he's like, yeah, I train myself to be that way. You can't always rely on your quirk to do everything for you. And then, like, yeah, what quirk, you damn nerd. And, like, Bakugo's, belittling him and then just walking out. And then, everyone's like, dude, what's up with him? I'm like, whatever. And then Deku explains that he's, like, doing martial arts and he's also doing parkour so he could stay fit. And they're like, parkour, that's kind of cool. So you're able to climb buildings and stuff? Like, not yet, but I'm able to, like, keep, myself. My stamina is very high. I could run for a couple of miles, like, without tiring. And I'm like, that's cool. And then you have this Mineta being a perv as always, looking at the Pico, and then he's all like, "Dude, that's not really a good thing to do." And I'm like, oh, "Come on, Midoriya, you knew you would do it too." Like, in this fucking creepy ass voice. I can't believe I did that. Oh god, now I'm turning into him. Anyways, so what Deku does is this: that he hypnotizes him, uses Gias on him, and tells him stop being a perv, and then like, yes. Well, like, get me. He hypnotized Mineta to stop being a perv, and he's like, "Oh crap, what did I do?" And then, like, he hypnotized Mineta, and it's a permanent command to stop being a pervert. So Mineta's not gonna be a pervert anymore in this thing. But yeah, it's gonna be a minor detail, but you get what I mean later on. Anyway, so after he gets out of there, it was weird. Then, like, people are saying, what are they going to be doing for the quirk apprehension test? And, like, Shota, Aizawa Sensei gives the ball and says for Bakugo to throw it since he scored the highest. And, he does, and, like, does it with his quirk, and, like, he gets 700 something meters, if I remember correctly. Not on top of my head, I haven't watched the episode in a while. Anyways, so back to the point. So he does that, and, like, Deku's, like, a little bit nervous because his quirk is not, physically based on, like, how Aizawa and everyone later, when they start saying, "Oh, this is gonna be fun, we could use our quirks however we want," and then, like, Aizawa says, "Oh, this is fun for you guys? Well, how about we make it even more interesting? The person with the lowest score gets expelled and shit." And, like, everyone's like, "Oh crap, why the fuck did we open our mouths?" And then, like, you get me. Deku, he's okay physically fit, yeah, but in some areas he's not going to score as higher than the others, so he thinks, yeah, I'm in a little bit of trouble. So what he does, instead, first we're going to do the whole, what's it called? Everything else. So the side-to-side lunges, the 100-meter dash, the grip strength, and all that other stuff. The the sand pit where he has to jump over. He does, like, above, like, an average human being because he's physically fit, but he doesn't, like, do outstanding. Like, he doesn't get, like, a top score in any of them. When it comes to the ball throw, which is the last one thing, Deku's a little worried because he hasn't really, done anything, like, spectacular. And since his quirk is hypnotism, he can't really, hypnotize someone and have them do it for him. He thinks that would be okay, but he doesn't want to, like, rely on, like, using other heroes, because in the real world, when he's doing that, if he takes control of a hero to do something for him, then there's a chance that they won't be able to react to anything and they'll probably die. So what he does in the ball throw is, and this is like me just giving him a Deus Ex Machina at this point, that there's a bird that's right there, like right next to the tree, right behind all of them. He looks at the bird, uses his Gios, and commands it to take the ball and fly it as far as it can. Let's just say it's like not a crow, but it's like one of the hawks or something like that. You get me? One of those bigger predators that are, like, it will fly farther and stuff. So he tells it to take the ball and fly it away. And he's always like, "Wait, what did you just do? That bird just took the ball. You were supposed to throw it." "I am. And you said to use my quirk, and I did." "Like, what do you mean?" "I hypnotized the bird to take the ball as far as it could. As long as it's using my quirk, it counts, right?" And I was impressed with this kid. He used a loophole, or actually used his knowledge of his quirk to do something. And let's say, because the bird, I don't know how far a bird will fly with the ball, or like to a nest, because I don't know that whole thing. But let's just say he got over like 500 meters, just like ballpark, because we don't know how flat. I don't know how far a hawk or something, like the radius of like where they fucking fly or migrate. Because it might be more, it might be less, but we'll just give it like the 500 just to give him a good estimate. So at the end, they tally up the scores. Deku's not at last place. It's still Mineta, and like he's a little bit sorrowful that he's gonna get kicked out, and then like you get me. But then STL Maizawa says that it was a logical deception to make sure you guys did your best, and like everyone's like really, and like Momo's like, I thought you guys knew that that wasn't true because he can't do that, and like really you could have told us, and like I'm sorry, but then like Izawa reveals, no, actually I expelled whole classes before. And like, what? Like whole classes before? I expelled them because they weren't good enough to be heroes. And like, then she like, oof, almost a little bit weirded out because yeah, she just tried to calm the situation down, but it escalated very quickly. So, anyways, at the end of their first day, they go, and as they're walking back, they're doing, Ida and Uraka and Deku take the station home. Nothing really fulfilling happens. C2 like calls Deku to see how his first day went, and he says, "Yeah, it was fine. I couldn't use my Gios to do anything, but at least I showed that I still have potential." And then like she's like, "Okay, that's good. Just be careful, like I mentioned, that if you use it too much, it will get powerful, and you don't want that. Well, too early, or maybe you would." Like, what do you mean? Like, sometimes using more power, the faster you get it, the more stronger you could do. And your abilities might expand. Expand? What do you mean? You might get derivative abilities, or your range or something might increase. You might be able to do other things with your power other than what you usually have. Hmm. Okay. Okay. And Deku keeps that in mind. That his abilities might evolve from what they are. Because, yeah, with Gios, it's unpredictable. Anyways. So the next day happens, they get part in school because at the front gate there's like a bunch of, reporters and stuff like doing that whole thing that they want to see All Might, and like Deku's like, oh no. He puts on his glasses or his sunglasses so he doesn't make eye contact with anyone, which draws more attention to his. And they're like, "Oh, who are you?" And like all the other stuff. Why are you wearing sunglasses? Or like, nah, they wouldn't ask that, but you get me. They'll be like, "Are you a student here? Have you studied under All Might and all that other stuff?" And he's trying to like best try not to get nervous in front of the the press and everything, but get me. That's kind of hard to do, especially for him. So, anyways, it's up to Sue to save his ass, and then like Aizawa and President Mike are there to stop all the press from getting in, and then that's it. He goes to class, and this time, All Might comes in because it's the battle test, and he's like, "I'm coming in the door like a hero," thrusting into there, freaking weirdo. Anyways, back to the point. So yeah, they go in there and they're gonna do the whole battle training, and like Deku is a little bit apprehensive because in his mind he's thinking, I just have to look someone in the eye and the battle's over, so it should be easy for me, but I shouldn't just take the easy way out sometimes. Well, Bakugo's like, yes, I'm gonna get to kill that damn nerd, and you get me, like how he is. Everyone else is like indifferent and all that stuff, and so then All Might's like, you guys have to look the part. So here are your costumes based on your designs. And Deku's costume is gonna be different since he like had a quirk. He wanted to use his mom's design, but he improved on it, made it a little bit more like his season 2 costume, except no the hood, but just keep the mask. And a little bit instead of the the greenish color he's more of a dark dark purple, like blackish type color, like Aizawa, or like Zawa has like a dark brown, blackish color for his suit. Because if he works like get me, like in stealth or anything, it'd be more effective. And also because you get me, He would be a good hero in the daytime, but sometimes the nighttime is a little bit more effective because many people won't like be nothing to like obscure his vision and all that other stuff. Well, in daytime it's the same thing that he will be able to do it, but be diverse. So, anyways, his costume's like that, so you could just imagine it. Anyways, so he gets there, and then like Uraka comments in his costume that looks a little bit similar to Aizawa with the dark coloring and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I got a kind of an inspiration because we have both quirks that have to do with our eyes. And like he starts looking at Uraka, and you start to like ogle her a little bit, and like he's like getting like nervous. His face is turning red, and like oh, and Mineta doesn't say shit about any of the girls' costumes because he got commanded not to be a pervert anymore, so he's not doing that. Anyways, so the lots are drawn. It's the same battle. It's going to be Bakugo and Ida versus Deku and Uraraka. So the thing starts, and like, Bakugo is talking to Ida. Hey, what are you saying that the damn nerd has a quirk? And like, what is it? And like, it's like, from what I saw, he was able to control birds. It might be able to control other, animals. Like, luckily there's no animals. But either way, it doesn't make sense. That dude was quirkless since the moment I met him. I was like, But remember, quirks do develop over time, so maybe he's a late bloomer. I'm like, nah, that's not true. That can't be true. And I'm like, oh, that's. So Deku and Uraraka are outside. They're trying to form a plan. Deku's saying that if he could get eye contact with any of them, that I could just hypnotize them and end the match that quickly. And Uraraka's like, yeah, that's true. We could do this quickly and easy, but will they give you a chance? Like, Deku's like, probably not, especially knowing Kachan. He'll probably come after us head first. Not gonna even bother with defending the bomb. And Uraraka's like, you guys know each other, huh? I'm like, yeah, he used to bully me back when I was younger. Back when my quirk wasn't, when I didn't have my quirk. And like, he kept calling me Deku, which means useless, but it doesn't matter anymore. I'm gonna try to be better. And, Uraraka's like, good for you. You could do it. So they go in, and they see the doors locked. Deku's like has a idea of using Uraraka's zero gravity to go on top through one of the open windows, and they do. They sneak in. They're going through it. Oh yeah, one last thing I forgot to mention is that Deku has the goggles similar to Eraserheads, but it's not exactly the same, like different design. Anyways, so he goes in. He's a little bit nervous, but then he starts hearing the explosion. He's all like, "Oh yeah, he's coming!" And like he's like, and then Baku's all like, "Deku!" And like coming in and like Jesus Christ. So he manages to like save Uraraka from that first explosion because he knows that's gonna come out. And then like Bakugo's right there staring down at Deku. Damn, you damn useless nerd! What do you think you do with me? You're just a useless. And then he stops. Yeah, kind of anticlimactic, I know, but Deku could just hypnotize him and tell him to stand down. So what Deku does is to tell Bakugo to kneel down on the ground, put your hands behind your head, your back, and all that stuff. And then he takes the capture tape and captures them, and then he releases his control over Bakugo. And yeah, he continues that way. And everyone's like looking at it and like, oh my god, how did he do that? He just stopped that person without doing nothing. He even followed his commands and stuff. And like, All Might's impressed with Deku because he was able to finish that without needs of violence. And then Bakugo was being, very aggressive during the match. So he sees potential in Deku because he's able to, take the situation, not always have to handle it with violence. And he did it in quick and timely manner. Even Momo and like the others are impressed how fast he is. So anyways, after that, a few seconds, and Bakugo wakes up from his thing and says, like, what the fuck happened? Where's the damn nerd? And like, get me, like he's angry as fuck. And then All Might tells him that you had to leave the area, you've been eliminated. Wait, what? How the fuck did I get eliminated? Or you get me, I don't know if you would say that, but you get me, he's like angry as hell. He's cursing himself out. You've been eliminated, and then that's it, get out. And like, he leaves fuming, and then like he's going, Deku and Uraraka are going upstairs, and like Uraraka's like, that was cool. You did that so quick and easy. With your power, you could pretty much take on anyone. And Deku says, yeah, I probably could. The only problem is I had to make eye contact with everyone like I told you before. Oh yeah, that's true. But wait, what if they're wearing something to protect their eyes? Would it still affect? No, if they're wearing like something like, my goggles or glasses or something, well, as long as it's clear and I could see it, but if it's like black or tinted, then I can't make eye contact. And I can't do it over video. I had to do it in person. It's a good quirk, but there's limitations to what I can do. Uh, that's okay. At least yours is able to help in the fight. Mine's is not that useful for it. And Deku's looking at her like thinking, no, it's okay to not have something suited for battle. Sometimes people would be needing rescue, and your quirk would be essential for that. And she gets a little confidence boost from like hearing Deku say that. Anyways, maybe you could train your quirk to handle other stuff, like or maybe you could get a support item, like something that you could throw, decrease the weight, and then decrease it, and like it will be like a way to like stop villains. Hmm, that's probably a good idea because she doesn't have any way to defend herself. But then she thinks, and then like that would probably be a good idea. So, anyways, they get up to the part where the bomb is at. Ida's like, doing his old villain monologue, and like, Uraraka's like laughing at that, and like Deku's like, you have to be quiet, he's gonna hear you. And then like he hears them, oh, you heroes are here. Now reveal yourselves before me, like ha ha ha, like he's trying to act the part, and like they're trying not to laugh, but it's hilarious as shit. So anyways, they go in there, and then Deku's like, oh no, I forgot. I'm like, what? And then Uraraka's like, what? And like he has a helmet on, and the visor probably cuts his eyes off from me being able to see them. I can't use my quirk on him. Oh, oh, that's gonna be a problem. So Deku thinks, you try to grab the bomb, I'll distract Ida, and like he goes in head first, trying to go against Ida, and then Ida freaking goes in with his engines, tries to kick Deku, which he almost does, and I'm saying this because Deku, you get me, he studied martial arts, so he knows when a person's gonna kick. And since he knows that Ida is like from a hero family and that he uses his legs, then that's more better for him since he would know what he's gonna focus on. So, anyways, he dodges the kick, tries to trip up Ida, but Ida was a little bit quicker on that and was able to like get out of his I think it's called leg sweep. Anyways, like yeah, he's able to dodge that. Deku is a little bit apprehensive because he has to try to distract him enough so that Uraraka could get the bomb. So while he's trying to do that, Ida sees that Uraraka's going for the bomb, and like he goes after her first. And like he trips her up and stops her, and then Deku tries to go for the bomb too, and they're gonna try doing this until one of them has the advantage. So what Deku does, and this is cool because he thinks, oh crap, he's gonna get close, so no matter what I do, I can't do anything. And if I have to make a space for Uraraka, we have to do it at the same time. But he's thinking, wait a minute, he has to get close, he has to get near me, and he's always gonna go for a kick. And then Deku has an idea. So he goes straight up, charges for the bomb, and Ida's gonna go in and kick him again. But this time, Deku has the capture tape ready, and he ties up Ida's leg, and he's like, oh no, and like he fucking spins and like throws him against the wall. Because he tried to stop after he got the capture tape, trying to see if he could get out of it, but he wasn't able to. But yeah, stopping that with all the motion and the kinetic energy, Deku was able to use that and throw him against the wall. And then him and Uraraka touch the bomb, and that's the end of the match. The hero team wins. Woo! Yeah, awesome. Anyways, so All Might goes and congratulates them for their work, and he tells them that what they did good, that Deku, he was doing very good, very strategic, that he used his quirk to the best of his abilities, and tried to do it with minimal damage to the building, unlike Bakugo, who was kind of blowing up all the walls, and like especially with his quirk, he could have also damaged the bomb. And then Uraraka for being helpful when she could, trying to be a good teammate, although she could have done a little bit more, All Might says, but it's okay. It's sometimes your quirks aren't limited to certain aspects that you could help, but don't let that discourage you. And for Ida, he gets a good, good praise for like keeping his part, doing what he could, defending the bomb as best he could, especially against two opponents because his partner, went ahead and got himself eliminated early. And then there's Bakugo, and he's like, I don't want to hear it. And like, yeah, I mean, Bakugo, you have to learn to calm down. You're being a little too hot-headed, and that's what caused you. Especially with Midoriya's quirk to hypnotize people, you kind of walked into that. I don't care about that damn nerd. And like, he walks off. And everyone's impressed with Deku because of his hypnotism, like how quickly he defeated Bakugo, one of the greatest powerhouses that they have. And Shota's a little bit weary of him, saying, yes, he is strong, but against someone who's more knows what his quirk is, then they're pretty much easy to deal with. But you get me. It's the end of the day, and Bakugo, confronts Deku like, where did he get his quirk, and like you never had it, and like Deku's like, I developed it over time. I'm a late bloomer. Anyways, why do you care? All you cared about is whether or not I had a quirk. Now I have a quirk. Why shouldn't you be, happy for me? I was like, no, you're supposed to be weak. You're supposed to be Deku. You're supposed to be beneath me. And like, Deku's like, I've had enough of this. Like, Kachan, that's your problem. You always think you're better than everyone just because you have power. But guess what? Sometimes power isn't everything. And if you have power but with no control, then you're pretty much just gonna hurt people. Like you did when we were in middle school, when all the way growing up. People didn't respect you. They were afraid of you. And like, Bakugo is like, fucking foaming at the mouth right now, wanted to fucking kill Deku with his fucking explosions right now. But then, you have All Might coming in and like, talking to Bakugo about like he should really be calm. That's the reason he lost in the first place. He didn't keep his cool. He was hot-headed. And hearing that from his idol, he's like, oh, he's like thinking about it. And All Might talks to Deku, asking him if he would join him in his office, and he does. And Deku is a little nervous because he's talking to All Might. This is the second time he did it. And Deku was, he's like, oh crap, I forgot. I told him I didn't have a quirk. What if he has? So All Might's like, so last time I met you, you said you didn't have a quirk, correct? No. I just asked you, could you be a hero even without a quirk? I just wanted to know your idea or your stance on that. I'm like, really? Okay. I misheard then. Okay, so Deku, I have a proposition for you. I'm like, okay, All Might, what do you suggest? I'm like, I need a successor, and I think you might fit the bill. I'm like, successor? What do you mean? And like he explains the whole thing about his quirk, how it could be passed down, and that how he has an injury, and then that's happening. And the reason he picks Deku is because he sees he could like end a fight even before it starts. He doesn't even have to use one for all unless he really has to. And knowing that he's physically able but doesn't have like the strength to back it up, especially during the entrance exam, he saw the whole thing with what he was doing. He was strong, yes, but not strong enough to like make a dent in those robots. But he did, think tactically. He tried to do the least amount of damage, and Deku is, a true, especially when he saved Uraraki, he showed he was a true hero. So anyways, Deku has to think about this because he doesn't know what would happen if he mixed All Might's quirk with the freaking Geass. And he asks All Might if he has some time to think this over, and that he won't say anything about his injury or the one for all. And Deku and All Might, yes, take your time. I know it could be a very life-changing experience, and you might want to think things through. So Deku goes home and like he talks to C2, and he like thinks about asking her if do you think this is a good idea, and like she's like, I don't know. I've never had someone with a Geass actually produce a quirk at the same time. Usually people who have Geass are quirkless people, and like like we tried giving Geass to someone with a quirk, but it kind of backfired in a major way. Like, and he's asking, what do you mean by backfire? The powers, they went against each other, and since uh, how should I say this? The person went insane, and Deku's a little bit worried. Like, they went insane. What do you mean? Like, the powers, they battle against each other for dominance inside the body, and he lost his mental fortitude. He's the last person who did that was in a psychotic state. They have him locked up in the Gias order. So Deku's like, wait, so I should probably deny this then? No, because you're different. You were born without a quirk, and that person already was born with their quirk. So you might be all right if you take that power from All Might. And Deku's like contemplating this because there's a chance he could, mentally go unstable, and there's a chance he would still be all right. So he's gonna have to think about this. So, anyways, I'm gonna stop it here, and next time we're gonna go into the USJ. Please leave a comment, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all later.